Good evening. This is Detroit's Junkyard Dog. Doing our first how-to video here to show you guys some of the stuff that we make and how that we do it. I actually make a mini bike that people really seem to love. It's a really big seller. It's simple to make, and I think you guys will really enjoy watching how it's done, as well as possibly making one for yourself. Alright, I thought I'd start out by showing all the pieces that you actually need and a few simple tools that you need to put it together. You need a couple nuts for the wheels, a spark plug for the engine, 2 nails for the handlebars, and I like to use a cap's head Allen screw to make the headlight, just because it being round I think it works good. We'll have to trim it back, and we'll show you how to do that. And last but not least, as a Junkyard Dog signature, anytime I make a mini bike or a motorcycle or anything like that, believe it or not, I actually use a teaspoon or a tablespoon as the seat. You're going to need a couple C-clamps to hold the nuts in place while you're welding the spark plug together, a simple hammer to bend the handlebars, and I got some welding pliers here for the welder, and a simple Sharpie to mark out where to cut the spoon and where to cut the bolt for the headlight. I use an abrasive cutoff wheel for most of my cutting, and I like to use a 4-inch flap wheel for any sanding or anything like that I've got. They work really good, but the tools can be dangerous, so be careful at home. Don't want anybody getting hurt or anything. And as far as the welding goes, I use, for everything that I build, this is a Sentry. It's a professional wire feed welder. It's 110 volt. There's no gas. It runs on flux core wire. It's really easy to use. There's only 2 adjustments on it. There's a voltage adjustment and a wire feed adjustment, and like I said, that's just about it. Alright, well, we're back. Got our welding helmet on, got our welder and everything ready to go. We're gonna start putting this mini bike together. Alright, here we go with our first part. You're gonna want to set your nuts in position. Try and get them so that your spark plug's gonna sit here in whichever position you would like it in. Kind of like that. I like to clamp the nuts down to the bench just so they don't move when I'm welding them. You want to try and keep in mind to try and keep the nuts so they're straight in line with each other. You don't want them crooked or anything, because then your mini bike's gonna be crooked. Alright, here we go. We're gonna turn our welder on, get our spark plug in the position that we want it in. I like to start, I just put 2 tack welds, put one here and one over on the other side. Our first one. Our second one. I also like to put a tack weld up here in the front just to hold it in position. Now that we've got our nuts welded to our spark plug, now we're going to move on to making our handlebars, getting our headlight cut, and last but not least, we'll work on getting the spoon cut to length. Alright, now we're going to take our cap screw. I like to take the cap screw, I like to put it in a vise. You're going to want to make sure you tighten it down really good so it doesn't move when you're cutting it with the cutoff wheel. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to trim this bolt. I'm going to trim it back about a 3/8 of an inch. Basically, I'm cutting the threads off it is what I'm doing. Alright, now that we got our bolt cut, we're going to want to get that bolt out of the vise. Always going to want to use a pair of pliers or something to get it out of the vise because it's going to be really hot after cutting it. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to make our handlebars. We got our 2 nails. These are just 3-inch nails. You can use 3.5, 4-inch, whatever you want, whatever style handlebar you want. My particular vise that I use, it's 1 inch long from the bottom of the jaw to the top of the jaw. So I take my nails, I stick them in to the bottom of the vise, I tighten them up, and I just simply take a hammer and I bend them over 90 degrees. A couple of them that I've made in the past, I've actually done the handlebars in different shapes. I mean, it's personal preference mainly. On the mini bikes, I generally just do them 90 degrees because a mini bike's got a fairly simple handlebar to it. You don't need to measure them, just kind of look at them with your eye. This is your mini bike that you're building. There's no rules, no blueprints. This is art. It's what you want it to be. Alright, now we got our nuts welded onto our spark plug. We got our headlight cut, got the threads cut off it. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna weld this over the top of the front nut for the front wheel. I like to try and keep the front of the headlight just a little bit back from the hex on that bolt, just so the front tire is sticking forward a little bit. Here we go. Now that we got our headlight welded into position, we're going to go ahead and we're going to install our handlebars. Take your handlebars, you're going to want to set them up there and just try and get a rough idea of what position you like. You know, I mean, you can lean them forward, backwards, in, out, however you want them to look on your mini bike. I'm going to put these ones kind of in a little V. Our first one. Now the second one is usually a little tricky. You want to try and get it as close as you can to being in the same position as the other one. If they don't come out absolutely perfect, I mean, you can bend them into position once you're done. Go. Actually look pretty good. Look like they turned out fairly well. What they look like from the back and from the sides. Now your seat, your spoon. Obviously, this spoon is not going to fit on this mini bike. So what you need to do, you need to try and get your spoon in the position you're going to want it in. The spoon is actually going to get welded to the back of the headlight, is where I like to weld it, back in this area back here where we cut the bolt. So what I like to do, get your Sharpie, just simply hold the spoon so it sits in between the spark plug and the back wheel. I mark the top of the spoon. Now I'm gonna cut this spoon on that line, and then once I cut it, I'm gonna bend this so that it bends so the seat sits flat, and so that the handle of the spoon comes right into the back of the headlight. I'm going to take our cutoff wheel. We're going to go ahead, we're going to trim the spoon off, and then we'll get to bending it so it fits. Now that we got it cut, as you can see, how it's sticking up. We want the front of the spoon to come right into the back of the headlight. Actually going to take this one, I'm just going to take a little pair of vice grips. I'll put it in there, start bending it. Be careful with your spoon, sometimes they get hot after you cut them. Going to put a little arc in the spoon, kind of like how the gas tank would be. We're going to check it, see how it looks, see if I like it. I like it. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put our tack weld in to hold the spoon in place. Just takes a little tack weld to hold it in place. And like I said, there's our mini bike. Turned out really good. You can use them for all sorts of different things. I've had, little boys buy them at shows. I've had grown men buy them that use them for paperweights for their desk. Like I said, everybody really seems to enjoy them. I hope you enjoyed the video on how to make them, and hopefully you'll be able to make one for yourself. Well, there you have it. There's our mini bike. I took this after I was done welding it, and I took it over and I wire wheeled it. I wire wheel all of my parts. That way, they turn out nice and shiny. I just really think it makes them look good. I don't paint anything that I do. You can clear coat the sculptures if you'd like. I leave everything I make at Detroit's Junkyard Dog, I leave in the raw. People really seem like they enjoy it. It gives it kind of a rough, tough look. People really seem to enjoy that. Like I said, these mini bikes, I've been making them for a while. They're available on our website. You can go to www.detroitsjunkyarddog.com, and it'll take you to our Etsy store where we've got the mini bikes and a whole bunch of other sculptures that I think you would really enjoy looking at. And like I said, this is our second YouTube video. I really had a lot of fun doing it. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did, and please like and subscribe to our channel so we can do more for you. Thank you very much.